Hello boys and girls, today we are going to experiment with value, which is the lightness to darkness of a color. So first we need to get our lines drawn on here, and then we're going to draw circles. Now this isn't a finished project, this is an in progress one, but I'm going to recreate it on here so you can see how to. So the first thing you're going to do is you're just going to break up this space using 4 lines. Actually 3 or 4. 2. I'm just going to do 3. 3. And same thing on the other side, 3 or 4 lines. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now it's all divided up. And what you're going to do is you're going to either use a compass or a tracer to draw circles on here. Now you shouldn't have all the same size, so you're going to have to find different tracers if you are not using this. And I'm going to draw 7 to 10 circles on here. They can be anywhere on the paper. Now if you're using a compass, you have your point here. Be very careful with it because that is sharp. And you have your lead or your pencil on the other side. You're going to hold it up at the top. Sometimes they move, so you might have to hold it down a little lower. Line up the metal point where you want the circle, and it's easier if you twist the paper than twist your wrist. So you're making your other hand that's not holding it do all the work. And there's my perfect circle. Now I want to have different sizes, so I'm going to draw them in different areas. If it moves a little, your circle might be a little off, and you might have to go back around to fix it, like mine was a little off there. So I'm just going to go ahead and now add my circles. You could have some of them going off the paper if you'd like as well. Now be careful when you're using the compass that you're not pushing too hard, that you're puncturing the paper and putting a hole in it. So now I have this drawn, and we are actually not going to outline in Sharpie. I'm going to erase the lines that intersect through my circle, like they're over top of it in space, so they're overlapping. And you're not going to see those lines underneath. Like if my hand is covering that, you can't see these lines underneath. So same thing with my circle, it's covering those lines. So now you're going to create value. I have 2 different pencils here. This is an HB, which is like the thickness of a normal pencil that you would use. So there's an example of an HB. Now this pencil, on the other hand, is a 3B, which means that it is darker or blacker in color. So the difference between these two is immediately noticeable. I am going to use my HB, but I could use my 3B if I wanted to color this in. So I'm just going to create a bunch of values, so you can start wherever you want. I would suggest starting at the top and working your way down though, so you're not smearing all of this. And you are going to color it in, creating values. So I'm going to start up here, coloring lightly, and then as I go down, I'm starting to get lighter. Now, if you have an area where it's immediately a difference between light to dark, like here, what I just did, just go back and color under it a little lighter. When I'm coloring this in, I'm not holding my pencil super tight because that will mess you up. So if you get a little line like that, don't start coloring even more over top of that, because that's just going to make that darker color darker, and it's not going to help you fix it down below. So you go underneath it and start blending it so you have light to dark of a color. Now you're going to color in this whole entire block that you created using value. And then you're going to move on to your next ones. The problem is, since we didn't outline this here, you are going to have to change the way your value comes in. So if you look here, I have my darker color here, and then it gets to lighter, and then I start at the next one with darker to light so that they're not lining up, so it doesn't become one big space. You want each of these spaces to still stay defined with value. So that's something you're going to have to work out and figure out on your own.